Is there any food so humble,
So democratic,
so American?
so downright delicious as a cheeseburger? You know, the truth is that in this great country of ours, there are so many different regional variations and styles that you could actually travel from coast to coast and never have the same burger experience twice.
Exactly. So if anybody ever tells you that you're cooking your burger wrong, they need to check themselves.
There are some basic physical, chemical, and thermodynamic truths that make a good burger, though.
Exactly, and knowing those truths can help you get to the bottom of what's going on between those soft buns. I'm Kenji Lopez-Alt.
And I'm Katie Quinn.
And on this episode of the Food Lab, Cheeseburgers.
Cheeseburgers.
Want a better burger? Ditch the pre-formed frozen patties.
In fact, ditch the pre-ground meat from the supermarket, period.
Inside those styrofoam trays and cardboard boxes, you're gonna find densely packed meat from who knows what parts of the cow. You've lost the battle for good flavor and texture before you've even started.
When you ask for specific cuts of the cow, you get exactly the meat you want. Cows are incredibly complex creatures, so depending on where you get the meat from, it's entirely different flavor and texture. Okay. Super tender cuts from along the cow's backbone.
Like the tenderloin or strip.
Those are great for steaks, but they don't have the intense flavor we want in a burger. So you're better off using something from, say, the chuck or the brisket. Hard-working muscles simply develop more flavor, and since we're grinding the meat anyway, toughness isn't really an issue. We've got our chuck here. What's the best way to turn it into a burger?
Well, the easiest way is actually to go to your butcher and ask him to grind it for you right in front of you.
And ask him to handle it gently before he hands it over.
Yeah, because you don't want your meat to get too compressed before you even bring it home. But if you want to chop your meat at home, you do have a few options. Chopping by hand is a good option because it gives you really precise control over the final texture of your meat, but it's also a really, really major pain in the...
Assuming that you are not hand chopping, what are your other options?
If you've got yourself a meat grinder attachment for a stand mixer or a standalone grinder, that's actually the best and easiest way to grind meat at home. You just want to make sure that you keep your meat and the grinder nice and cold before you start.
It's actually a good idea to put the meat grinder in the freezer for at least an hour before any grinding project.
And make sure to cut your meat into small pieces and trim off any gristle so that you don't clog up the blade.
Don't have a stand mixer or meat grinder? No problem. The food processor will work just as well.
Right, all you have to do is cut your meat into chunks, put it in a single layer, stick it in the freezer for about 15 minutes till it's nice and cold, and then load it up into your food processor in half-pound batches and pulse it till it's done.
However you choose to do it, one thing's for sure. If there is just a single thing that can change your burgers from everyday to extraordinary, it's to grind your own meat.
Right, you know what they say, Katie, once you grind, you don't rewind.
Do they really say that?
They do. They's me, yeah. So you might think it's a good idea to salt your meat before forming patties.
Yeah, you may think that, but you'd be wrong.
We like to have our meat seasoned evenly from edge to center, but salt doesn't just make things salty, it also has some chemical effects that can drastically alter the texture of your meat.
Yeah, it's a major downside.
Imagine your meat as a bunch of string cheese. Normally the bundles stay nice and compact and you can toss them as much as you want and they don't really stick together.
But then add salt to that mix and the edges start to fray.
They come undone, just like the string cheese. If you let the meat sit long enough, eventually what you end up is something like this. Those proteins end up cross-linking. Now, cross-linking is a good thing when you're talking about a sausage, something that you want to stay nice and compact, but with a hamburger where you want a nice tender, juicy texture, it can spell disaster.
You want proof? Okay, we'll give you proof.
All right. I've got here 2 hamburger patties, and while they may look identical, they're actually not. One of them was salted before I formed the patty, the other one was formed and then salted only on the exterior. Now we're gonna fling both of these against the target using the patty pulse here and see what happens.
Prepare patty number 1.
All right, meat sling cocked and ready.
Fire!
That was patty number 1, the salted patty. Now we're gonna do the patty that we've only salted on the outside.
Prepare patty number 2 for lunch.
Patty number 2, the unsalted patty.
Fire! All right, let's see what we got.
So, first off, we got the salted patty.
It almost looks like it didn't even hit the...
Yeah, it looks like a little bit chewed up, but mostly intact. Meanwhile, the unsalted patty is here, there,
All the way over here.
back there. So I think we've pretty much proved that if you salt your meat before forming your patty, you're gonna end up with a much tougher burger. Case closed right there. And now we get to the biggest burger question of all.
Is it ever okay to smash your burgers?
So you've probably heard this from a lot of chefs that once you put the burger on the grill, you do not want to press down on it because all you're gonna be doing is squeezing out juices.
And those guys are usually right. If you're grilling in your backyard, don't smash.
Right, and if you've got a big fat juicy burger in a pan ready to come out onto the bun, you don't want to be pressing down on that.
But if you want the deepest, most flavorful brown crust, something that cooks through in record time but manages to keep its juice through the process,
then smashing is the way to go, and I'm serious about that.
but you don't just want to go smashing willy-nilly. There's got to be a method to the madness.
Right, so what I've got here is 2 burger patties that are pretty much identical. They both weigh the same amount, they both came from the same cut of meat. What we're gonna do is one of them, we're gonna stick in this hot skillet, smash it right from the start. The other one, we're gonna place in this skillet, wait a little bit, and then smash it and see what happens. You ready?
Let's do it.
Patty 1, smash. And you can see there, when we smash at the beginning, there's almost no juices that have escaped. Patty 2, we're gonna put in here and let it warm up a bit before we start to smash it. All right, now that the second burger's been on here for a couple minutes, we're gonna press it down and see what happens now. Oh man, and yes, there you can see,
So much juice leaving.
those are the juices that they're talking about, and those are the juices that you don't want to lose. As long as you smash early on, you don't lose any juices at all, really. And the best part about a smash burger is this bit. Let me show you something. That brown crust right there, that's gonna make this burger as tasty as any steak you've ever had. So that is some major Maillard reaction going on right there.
All that browning means more flavor.
Now, all we gotta do to finish these off, Katie, if you will, cheese with me.
Happily.
Let's pop them onto our buns. All right, Katie, you can have the nice one here. And
Aw,
I'll
thanks, Kenji.
I'll take the other one. So, do you have to smash your burgers? You don't, but the next time somebody tells you that you should never smash your burgers, just point them in our direction.
Yeah, we've got something that'll shut them up.
Hit it, hit it.